Welcome back to Talking to Teachers. I'm your host, Gavin McGaw, and I'm here with English teacher, Miss Biloholowski.
Also known as Miss B.
So, Miss B, what was the backstory behind becoming a teacher and how you ended up here at the academy?
So I've always loved literature, and I have loved literature for as long as I can remember. And when I was studying in college, I was sort of looking into different careers, and I took a teaching class, and I was like, oh, I kind of like this. Let's take another one. And then I ended up in grad school for education, and here I am. CBA was a great appeal to me when I was looking for a job because it's obviously a great place to work, great students, a lot of really interesting different things about the school that really appealed to me as an instructor.
How long have you been a teacher here for?
I started in September of 2011. A long time.
Wow. And Were you always just all English? Or
all English, yep.
Do you help with the club?
Yeah, I'm involved with the National Honor Society, and I've chaperoned a couple of service trips, whether they've been more local or outside of New Jersey. I've been to Montana a couple times too.
Montana? Mm-hmm. I went to Appalachia last year.
Oh, I've been to Appalachia too.
I'm looking into Montana this year, so.
It's great. It's a wonderful experience.
Really?
I highly recommend it.
So which one did you prefer?
I really liked Montana. I've been twice. It feels like the work that you're doing, not that the work is not vital in Appalachia, but seeing the students, you guys interact with the students in Montana is a really incredible experience, and I know there's been a ton of great takeaways from that program.
What month did you go?
The first time I went in May, and the second time I went in September. Both times I've gone in good weather.
All right.
Winter, I haven't encountered a Montana winter yet.
That's the one that I'm going to be going to.
Oh, okay. Get your snow boots ready.
So you were talking about the National Honor Society. So you're the advisor of our De La Salle chapter of the National Honor Society.
Yep.
Why did you get involved?
So I really like working with students in regard to excellence, not just academics, but a lot of the students who are applying for National Honor Society are really looking for recognition because of the amount of service they've done or leadership, and it's really nice to work with those students and make sure they get appreciation for what they have done. There's also a large tutoring component that is also I work a little bit with, but is really Mrs. Chesick, another English teacher's role, and it's nice to kind of have the students to set up that program. It's really worthwhile to not just National Honor Society kids, but everyone else who takes advantage of it. So it's a really great program that we have.
So what's the difference between the De La Salle one or just a regular National Honor Society?
So a lot of every high school pretty much has a National Honor Society, and often that's GPA based, so students who are doing well in their classes. But our component, or our chapter, has a GPA component, but also a service hours requirement and a leadership requirement. So it's a little more challenging to get into, but again, it's more worthwhile because students are able to display all the great things that they've done, and it's an achievement for them.
What are the requirements, like grade, and what's the leadership one?
So I believe GPA is a 92 overall. Leadership, you have to have some demonstrated leadership over a semester or a summer, and that's usually, directing or leading groups somehow. And then the service component, it depends on when you apply. If you apply as a junior, 130 hours, a senior in September, 140, I believe, and then a senior in the winter, January, 150 service hours.
150, that's nice. So,
and there's activities. That's another component. You have to be involved in a certain amount of activities at CBA as well.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So, as an English teacher, you probably read a million books. Do you have one that's just wow, that's just the best book I will ever pick up?
Oh, the best book I'll ever pick up. Oh, that's a tough one. I will say one of the ones that I've loved over the past couple of years is a book called Cloud Cuckoo Atlas, and it's has a ton of differing perspectives that you feel like, how are these all going to work together? There's a girl in 14th century Turkey, and then a girl who's existing in space like 1,000 years from now, and you're like, how is this going to work together? And it does, and it's wonderful. It's an epic book. I wish it's like one of those books that you like wish could work in the classroom. It's just really more
just
like enjoyable
yeah.
to read, but I loved it.
So do you have like any runner-ups, or just that's the clear cut number one?
That's probably what I can think of for this year, or for the last couple of years. In the classroom, I've been reading Persepolis with my seniors recently, the past couple of years, and it's a graphic novel about that takes place in Iran, and the response to that has been really, really wonderful. I read that for the first time when I was in college, a long time ago, and it's very cool to remember how much I loved that, and also to see 17 and 18-year-olds in my classroom being like, this was a really great book. And I'm like, it is. And I still really like it. So that would probably be my classroom pick.
So you teach standard for sophomores. What's your senior course?
Standard seniors.
It's just standard?
Yep. And advanced prep, AP Lang, and composition.
Seems pretty difficult.
Yep. 3 different classes this year.
So what are some activities you enjoy outside of the classroom?
Love traveling. And I like going sort of all over the place. This year I was in Scotland and Portugal for spring break, and this summer I ended up in North Dakota, South Dakota, Wyoming, and Montana, but South Montana, not anywhere close to where we do our service immersion. Yeah, not where the Blackfeet live. But I like to be active on those trips, so a lot of hiking and that kind of stuff too. If I'm in New Jersey, I like to hike with my dog. I'm obsessed with my dog.
What, do you have like a number one place you went to?
Ever? I went to the Galapagos on my honeymoon. That was very cool. I was on a boat for 8 days with no service. We were snorkeling multiple times a day. It was an epic, epic trip.
That's awesome.
Yep, it was great.
So before we wrap it up, do you have any advice to give to the student body?
Oh, yeah, sure. I think that for you guys, a lot of times you get so overwhelmed with the day-to-day and like, I have to get this done, I have to get that done. But CBA has so many just really wonderful opportunities outside of the classroom. The Adventurers Club trips, for instance, this year have been awesome. Like spending the time outside of the classroom, not necessarily for like, academic benefit or service benefit, like just to do stuff that's fun with kids that you're here with is, I would recommend doing stuff like that, because it's so easy to get wrapped up in all the work. Taking advantage of all these other opportunities is great too.
Awesome. Thank you so much for coming.
Thanks for having me, Gavin.
See you guys next time.